Hello, everybody. Welcome. So, what I want to walk through today is the transits for January. Happy New Year, 2026. Um, I want to talk about what I see as some of the most potent and powerful alignments and energetics cycles to be aware of. Of course, there are many cycles upon cycles we are always moving through. But from my perspective, the ones I'm going to share today are where I'm focusing and seeing the most value to really tune into. Um, so it's 2026 now. We've entered the new year. And wow, what a year it's been, 2025, right? We're not quite there yet, honestly, because I'm sure you're feeling it. There are these energetic markers that we haven't yet come to yet. So obviously the new year, January 1st, is this sort of threshold that we are all collectively oriented within. So there is potency, there is power. We know it, we feel it, and it's essentially governed by our intention and our alignment to it. And then we have the Chinese New Year, which is coming January 17th on the next new moon. Will usher that in. So we can feel that we're not quite in that yet. And I think that's really potent right now because we can tune into that we're still sort of in 2025 energies, cyclically speaking. Um, we are still in the year of the snake, which is a year of shedding, a year of confrontation and death and rebirth processes going on. It's um, infamously not the easiest time. And I think many of us have experienced that. Not that it is not good. That's not the language I'm ever using, but um, challenging, right? There, a lot came through, a lot came up. And over and over again, what I'm going to be talking about and what I'm already talking about, what a lot of astrologers are talking about is 2026. There are so many really powerful um, possibilities that are before us. That is really the energetics that are coming forth. Um, and so I'm looking forward to it. I think we have a lot to look forward to. And as we go through this year, and as you know, I'm going to be coming in as much as I can to share some of the most powerful cycles that we can get more present and aware of moving through, because, as we know, it's happening regardless of if we're paying attention. So, all the more we pay attention and yeah, be intentional with our own process, how we're showing up and what we're creating and how we're aligning our own power and purpose with the flow. um you know all the better, all the more magical. And so the year the horse from out of the snake is exciting. It's cool. The horse. I don't know, I'm not an expert in Chinese astrology at all, but what I do know is that the year of the horse, and this is a fire year, and so fire is a lot of power, a lot of initiation, a lot of taking action. And the horse represents this. The horse essentially is all about freedom, freedom to exercise your own power and purpose and to essentially like like the wild stallion, break free from anything that is trying to harness your power, slow you down, or, conditioning in all kinds of ways. So, in that, we are moving into a year of liberation that is representing liberation and power and purpose and going forward, going for it. And and if you've been following the astrology, you also know that we are moving in a very powerful Aries um, cycle where Saturn and Neptune have been transiting back and forth from the last degree of the zodiac into the first degree of the zodiac, which is the 29 Pisces point, into the 0 degrees Aries point, all through 2025. And January 17th, I believe, is when Neptune fully enters Aries with no return back, right, in our lifetime, back into the Pisces and the 29 Aries point. And I've talked a lot about this in many videos, and it's just been so powerful. And we can fully observe, right, because astrology is the observation correlation, right? So we can observe this in the collective consciousness, in our own consciousness, this awakening of Neptune having transited through Pisces for the past 14 years, which is, we can see it, how we have awakened more to our own spiritual connection. And in a lot of ways, there has been the rampant delusionment, right? The God complexes and the other things that we're seeing in mass on the planet that have been gradually peaking out. And so we're seeing a lot, and it's 29 Pisces point is an extreme energetic and frequency. So we have seen that symbolism is representing, and we have seen a lot of extreme. And so what is happening is, as Neptune, well, I'm also really tuning into and talking about that we have entered a new spiritual era, right? We can see this. We can feel this. There is much more of people awakening to their own spiritual connection, also to our sovereign self, to the God self, Pluto in Aquarius, to that we are the creators, to that, yeah, we have our leadership, our self-led realities, right? We can see this as like a collective wave coming through the consciousness and being represented throughout in people, and people really obviously social media for many years now has really been bringing up the our own identities and where we are embodying who am I? Look at my page, look at my stuff, look what I'm saying, look what I'm doing, kind of thing. And now we're going to see the shift is coming in with Jupiter and Saturn moving into the 0 degrees Aries and going to fully come in. So Saturn will follow in February with being done with the Pisces journey and fully into the Aries, right around the same time that we have the equinox, which is the beginning of the Aries season, which is the beginning of the zodiac year, right at the same time of the next eclipse season, which is coming the end of February, beginning of March. So all of this is going to really amp up this 0 degrees Aries new beginning right at the same time in February that we have the horse year move in, which is a fire sign like Aries, which is about the initiation and power and our identity and our freedom and our purpose. And so all of this we can see is like not yet, but coming online. And as cycles go, we're feeling it. We're being pulled towards it. And yet we are closing very big chapters that are still underway. We are in the end, the balsamic phases. And that's what I want to talk about today with the astrology. So I'm going to go ahead and share the chart. Okay, so cool. I hope you all can see just fine. So this is just the chart for today, right? And so I want to just orient us all here that in evolutionary astrology, Pluto and Mars play a serious role as far as how we're identifying our soul dynamics, our soul purpose, our intention. You know, it goes way beyond personality and just psychology, right? But obviously, astrology is the study of psyche. And that is the lens that I am fully looking through, that what is being activated in your psyche at this time? And how can you look at what's happening now in the collective field up against your own chart and understand where your chart, what the evolutionary intention of your psyche, of your consciousness, of your soul in this lifetime is all about, and how it is represented in a continuum, right? In a cyclical process as you are evolving, as you are growing through life, all of the transits that are ever occurring from month to month upon you on your chart are going to represent this core design of what is actually being activated, what is actually being evolved in you. Where are you expanding? Where are you confronting your own limitation, etc.? So, where we are now is that we are in Capricorn season. We can see Mercury, Venus, Sun, and Mars are all in Capricorn here. And what I want to point out and what I want to talk about is that around um, January 18, 19, and the week following, this last week of January, and January 17th is when Neptune, you see Neptune and Saturn up here in the last degrees of Pisces. Neptune is at 29. It's on January 17th. It's going to move into 0 degrees Aries, and like poof, we have arrived. We have moved out of that sort of threshold, that gateway that we have been moving through, and we have entered a whole new realm. And Saturn, as I said, will follow. And what will also happen, which I'll talk about in February when this occurs, that Saturn will has been coming towards Neptune this entire time. And what will happen is Neptune will enter 0 degrees Aries first, Saturn will follow 0 degrees Aries, and then Saturn will conclude its cycle, this balsamic ending phase that it is coming towards Neptune right now. It will move beyond Neptune and start a brand new cycle. And that we are feeling, that we are going to feel when that happens, this closure of this conjunction between Saturn and Neptune has represented such a reflection of what is possible, that beyond what we imagined is clearly possible and is manifesting and is coming through on so many levels, right? We all know this has been like a what is going on type of year, but also for some time building up to that. And so when Saturn passes Neptune and goes to the other side, February and beyond, yeah, we're really going to feel that new start energy, this new cycle energy, and that we have truly entered this new era. So it's we're dawning. It's dawning, right? Like we have all known that we are dawning into the age of Aquarius. And now that Pluto has entered Aquarius this last year and is going to be there for the next 20 years, this revolutionary impulse is like a surge that is moving through the collective consciousness and humanity. So we have entered this age of a revolution. And so it's powerful, and we're going to see it play out. And it is playing out in our own lives. So we can ask ourselves these questions of where are we feeling the revolution within? Where is it happening in our lives? Where is your soul edging you to your own edge of where you are needing to break free? right? And so, what I want to talk about with this is, well, as we can see here, we're in a really powerful moment here at the beginning of January because Venus is conjunct the Sun, Mars is conjunct the Sun, Venus and Mars are conjunct. So, just that we know there's a very powerful, potent relationship theme that has come up this particular moment, this week. Um, so, you may be feeling that. Things are being seeded, things are needing to be cleared. And Capricorn is always all about power, power and authority. And of course, it does have to do with our work and what we're doing as our role in society and how we are leading our life and contributing. So we all have this to a different degree, of course. And wherever Capricorn is in your chart is where this alignment is happening, where the Venus, Mars, Sun activation is happening for you. So you want to look and see what house of your chart this powerful activation, because it is an initiation, it is a rite of passage, it is a an expansion going on in your own psyche, an opportunity to expand and to clear out and to liberate and essentially to break free, right? Because we know we are patterned and we are governed by unconscious and subconscious patterns in a very powerful way. And then we have free will, we have consciousness, we have awareness, we have our agency, we have our sovereignty, and we are self-governing as well, right? But there are a lot of forces involved that we are moving with. And so, yeah, where is it happening in your chart? Where's the 0 degrees Aries point in your chart? Where is the movement for you? Where's your growth happening? Where's your evolution happening now at this time? And where are the cycles coming to a close for you? And where are new cycles happening for you? So you want to know this. And so this is a big part of my work. And if you don't already know, I have an entire astrology community, the Temples of the Moon community. It is a completely free space. And I have a whole room in that space where I am leading people through how to read your chart up against um, the astrology up against your chart so you can start to really um, yeah, just gain more self-awareness and work with astrology, because part of my mission, my service, that I connect to is, um, I love astrology. I've been an astrologer for 25 years as a professional, and it is so important. And it is such a gift to humanity that we have this tool. To me, it is absolutely a sacred spiritual technology that we have to work with. And so learning how to utilize it as the tool and taking it out of just information, like just gathering yet more information in life, which, nothing wrong with that, but we all know that we are in the age of information and it is a lot. And we are sort of bombarded at this point by so much information. And yeah, it became very clear to me quite some time ago, just like what do we do with this? What are we doing with astrology? What are we doing with the information after people receive a forecast and whatnot? It's great to be activated by information and connect to it. And then the next level is, how do you actually go deeper and create real movement in your life from it? And this is how you want to know how to see it up against your own chart. And so you can come into my space, and all that information is available to you. And of course, I also have a full school where you can learn with me. Um, so getting back to this, what I'm seeing is very powerful here that you want to be aware of is all of these planets are coming to Pluto and going to be closing chapters, going to be closing cycles and beginning new cycles in relationship to Pluto. And Pluto is the depths of psyche and soul, where we really purge, where we really reach in and access truth, and we see where we're attached, we see where our power is. So when you look at your own chart from the lens of Pluto, you see where your power is and where your power has been held up, so to speak. That we are who we are. We have created a lot of soul focus, even ego focus in certain orientations, and that is where we gravitate. And then we have our destiny, our evolution, where our soul is actually wanting to pull us towards to become more of ourselves, essentially, right? So Pluto and the Pluto polarity point, south node of the moon and the north node of the moon. And we look at all this and we see, yes, this is how I am. This is who I've been. These are the patterns that I see over and over. And these are my skills. This is what I'm good at. This is what I know. It's been long time in the making, right? And so we can take it from like lifetimes of this journey. And here we are now still like rolling with it, right? We can see all these things in the Pluto and the north and south nodes of the moon. And Mars is the lower octave of Pluto, Pluto being the higher octave. So they carry this, they are in a co partnership in a sense, right? And so Mars is this activator of our desire. When we track Mars through our chart, we see where the evolutionary journey of our desire, of where we are feeling activated in how this is where I need to evolve now. So wherever this is happening, Capricorn in your chart, this Mars is showing you where are you needing to change things, take it to the next level, shift things a bit in relationship to your soul purpose. It essentially, Mars is this active force, this fierce, instinctual power and quality within us. So in transit, in movement, it is going to represent what how much of your soul power and personal power is going towards reacting to what is, and how much of your soul power and purpose is going towards activating your truth, your desire, your intention, what you're here to create and experience and be, right? So we know, we feel it. We are all in this evolutionary journey of being and becoming, evolving, moving forward, moving towards what we desire, what we dream of, what we want, what we vision, right? It's this creative potential, this creative process that we live with. We are the creators, right? We get to create our worlds and, amidst all the forces that are around us, other people, and that we are in a co-creative dance with the creator, with divine, with the cosmos, right? And so there's all the things, and we're in it, and it's just so phenomenal, right? And so what I want to show us is this, that if we move ahead, we can see all the planets are gradually moving towards Pluto. And so what I'm bringing here from this perspective is that Mars, this potent force of power and purpose, is activating you in this way, whatever house in your chart, whatever planets it might be contacting and activating, that is where you're being called to make some serious changes, to see where the holding patterns are, that you are given now a very powerful opportunity, the potency of of nature, of the cosmos working in alignment to release, because we are coming to the close of a powerful cycle. Mars is going to come to Pluto and end a 2-year cycle. So we're coming into the balsamic phase. We're coming into the culmination, the fruition of a 2-year cycle of how we have been in relationship to our source power and personal power, how we've been taking action with our willpower, with our courage, and actualizing ourselves, actualizing our desire and what we want in life. So that we are coming to the close of that cycle in our consciousness, and we are stepping into a brand new cycle of consciousness in relationship to how we are actualizing ourselves. And I'm feeling it. And I'm sure many of you listening right now are feeling it too. I am feeling what is Mars? It has a lot to do with our identity, right? How we take action, our instinctual pulse that comes from where? What is your desire? Yeah, we have ego desires, but below that, the desires of our soul. I want certain things, right? We all want different things. We share commonalities, of course, but what are the core, deep in your heart things that you truly want, that you've come to experience? And maybe you haven't allowed yourself them. Maybe, there's self-worth and value and all the issues that come with the human experience being conditioned away from who we truly are and what we truly want. But when we overcome that, when we recognize that, when we become more sourced in our sovereignty and we know that we are actually beyond that, that we have power beyond all of the conditioning, what are you here to create? What is your purpose, your destiny? What is it that you feel is your truest desires that you're here? So that is coming to the closure of a cycle as Mars comes to close its cycle with Pluto, and it's going to create a reset, a brand new cycle. And so I was saying, I'm feeling this. How I have been in my identity, my power, my purpose, my leadership, Capricorn, for the past 2 years has gone through its evolution. And I am definitely finding myself up leveling, like the video game, to the next level and how I'm relating to all of that. And so this is the opportunity we have now. Becoming aware of the timing of this, you can see we are in the last few weeks of this 2-year cycle of closing. And so what I want to show you is going to happen is that, so take a look here. January 19th. What's I thinking here? January 19th. Okay, give me a sec. So it's not January 17th. It's January 26th. Neptune goes up to 0 degrees of Aries. So there we have entered. Okay, so going back, here we are. January 19th, the moon conjuncts Pluto. Okay, and right behind the moon is Venus, then the sun, then Mercury, then Mars. So this cycle that I'm showing you of Mars having a balsamic conjunction to Pluto, ending an entire 2-year cycle, coming to the end. And what I want you to understand is that the balsamic conjunction is an activation of wisdom. It is the culmination of the end. It is Pisces. It is the dark moon. It is when the fruition of all that has been experienced is now being metabolized, integrated into being. And what happens when we get conscious with our experience? When you stop and get present with what have you accomplished? What have you experienced? What courage have you cultivated? What knowledge have you gained over these past couple years in regard to how you are creating, manifesting your life and taking, leadership, taking charge of Your agency, what has come of that? You have gained so much wisdom. You have grown. And so this now, these weeks that we are in are about metabolizing and allowing that to move through you because when the new cycle begins, it will be like reset, go. Take it all, take all the wisdom, all that you've become, all that you are, all that you know now, and go. Go forth. This is a brand new cycle, right? So here's where we are. And not only is it just Mars coming to this conjunction, and then it will move from a closing balsamic conjunction to a new phase conjunction. And conjunctions in and of themselves are super potent and powerful. They are the culmination of a 360-degree journey, right? So it's like the hero's journey, the returning home and have returned home, resourced, seriously resourced. So I just want you all to recognize that within yourself, to really honor it, to take the pause to, yeah, like gather the celebrate, honor, gather the resources, you know, and allow it to be like we say the compost for the garden that's coming, right? All of this is all your experience, all your wisdom is a compost for what's coming next, for what you're going to create in 2026. So this week here, January 19th, the moon comes to Pluto, and then the next day, Venus on the 19th comes to Pluto, passes Pluto, starts its new cycle. So again, Venus and Mars. Venus is in relationship to love, to partnership, your relationship to yourself is changing because Pluto is death and rebirth. So on the on another level, all these planets coming to Pluto is a death and rebirth cycle, the death and rebirth experience. So this week of the last, week and a half or so of January is this real death and rebirth or purge or renewal experience that you get to harness in yourself. And so feeling moon, feeling the release, feeling the new beginning. Venus is relationship to self, like, yes, cleared that out, establishing, seeding new intentions within your relationship to self and love and money. Okay, money. Venus is a big money symbol, so that's coming up big too. Closing cycles, beginning new cycles with that. Then the sun, but Mercury is going to come first. So here we have Mercury on January 21st, closing to Pluto, beginning the new cycle. Here you can see it's on the other side, and then we get the sun. And don't forget, sun is power, potency. So once a year, the sun is going to make contact with all the planets, all the lessons that we get activated with in our psyche. And so Sun on Pluto, power days, very powerful days. So we just pay attention. We see like what's coming up in me, what's being reflected, what's coming up in others, what's happening in my world. So that's January 22nd. Then the sun is on the 3 degrees, January 23rd, but passes it. So again, I also look to like the planets are these consciousnesses. They go into council together. They meet in each other's house. They sit at the table together. They exchange wisdom, information, messages, and then they move on and carry it forth. So Venus, Mercury, Sun has met in council with Pluto and now is taking forth a message, right? This power is going now forward in our life. So that is happening within. So like Sun is meeting with Pluto in our own psyche. And so again, where is the 0 degrees Aquarius point in your chart? This is where this new intention is getting seated. This is where you have opportunities to really anchor in. And if you take astrology to the degree that I do, you plan your life around it. Like, what am I beginning, ending, or seeding at this time? This is some really potent, powerful energy that is going to take us through the rest of the year. And then see, we have Mars. So while all this is happening, Mars is getting ever closer, closing, closing, refining the end, the end. So what comes up in our lives? Endings, new beginnings, endings, new beginnings, and we start to feel it. Ooh, yeah, it's happening. I didn't know what was coming, but I can start to see what's coming now. Like, because right now, where we're at, where we've been in these past ending months of 2025, we've been building towards things, but they're not yet, anchored in and going forward yet. That's all swiftly coming, right? And so then on here, January 28th, Mars conjunct Pluto and past it. So powerful, a really, really powerful time. This is what I wanted to let y'all familiar with. And then in February, I'm going to come back, maybe probably in a couple weeks from now at the end of January, and do another video here talking about how Venus is coming to the North Node. Mercury, Sun, and Mars are all going to activate the North Node. The destiny, the trajectory, and like accelerated hit into the future. And so, where's that happening in your chart? Where's the North Node at 9 degrees of Pisces in your chart? And I'll tell you guys that I'm so fascinated with this right now because my midheaven is 11 degrees of Aquarius. So I have the North Node just transiting right now, sitting right there on my midheaven. And that's powerful. I have been building my school for 2 years and it's been amazing. I also have Saturn in my 10th house and I'm about to launch year 3 of my school. It's about to begin when Aries season starts in March. And yeah, it's been a journey. And so all of that is going to happen for me right around that time that the new year begins. And I can absolutely feel, as I was saying, the first 2 years of building my school has been, of course, the beginning, the building. I was trying to figure it all out, how to do a lot of things. And it's different now. Things are starting to, yeah, get more grounded in and whatnot. So you want to look and see where this stuff is happening for you. I'm also, just to speak on a little bit for another minute here, that we do have really exciting things happening. As you can see, we're going to continue to track the north and south node of the moon. They move backwards, right? So from 9 to 8 to 7, north node is moving. And in the summertime, it's going to switch signs. And the north node is now going to be in Aquarius and the south node is going to be in Leo. And that's going to be a huge shift. And what is also going to happen at that time is Jupiter is going to leave its year-long journey in Cancer and go into Leo. So we're going to have that. We're going to have Jupiter and South Node in Leo. There's a lot to be said there, but that is a lot about creating, manifesting, enjoying, bringing in the love, bringing in the abundance, right? Cultivating that. And of course, there's lessons that are going to come through that, and life is happening, and there are all of the crises and traumas and dramas that are also happening on the world level. But these are energies of the shifting, what's in the mix of what's going to be shifting and what we can utilize to work with our own life. And so the last thing I want to say is that um, what we'll also have to, let me just show it to you because it's cool. We're going to have Oh yeah. Okay. I think I went a little too far. Um, so yeah, here. So this is August. So we already have Saturn in Aries, and then we had Jupiter come into Leo. So look at this. We have Saturn in the fire sign of Aries at 13, trining the fire sign of Leo. So Saturn trine Jupiter, that is a really powerful energy that is, if you use it, and many people will be, it's an energy to really accelerate and assist your creative process to coming to fruitions, to not fruitions as in the closure, but coming to look, it's happening. What you have been, what we have all been building and like so much releasing over the many years, and particularly 2025, for what? To establish new, right? New creations, new ways of being, new identities, new world, new revolutions, right? That's what's really coming through. And so this is just really powerful to see the second half of 2026 having this energy that is highly supportive to actually start like, I just see like the flowers are blooming in the garden, right? Like this is like, whoo, look at all, let's pick the flowers, let's pick some fruit, let's enjoy the fruits of the labor kind of energy. So that's that. So thank you all for joining me. Yeah, be in touch, leave your, thoughts, comments, messages, and we can keep the conversation going. And I look forward to seeing you all wherever I see you in the future. Take care and aloha.